Hello and welcome to Operation Crypto. Today we're going to take a look at the project Wanchain. We'll have a look at some basic fundamentals, some key statistics, and then finish off with some chart analysis towards the end. Right, so let's get cracking, and we will first start off on the Wanchain website, and this is a documentation on the Learn section, and it will just give you a brief overview of what the project is and what they're trying to achieve. We'll have a quick read through this, and then we'll have a look at some information on the roadmap and some of the recent articles that were published to see what's going on in the project. So, what is Wanchain? Wanchain is a public blockchain with support for development of smart contracts using Solidity. Wanchain supports ring signature-based private transactions and decentralized cross-chain functionality. This comes into the DeFi space, and we'll run over that soon in the new document. So, Wanchain's Storm node system uniquely combines secure multi-party computation, atomic swaps, threshold secret sharing, and decentralized account management to implement a decentralized cross-chain solution. There's quite a lot of information here, so it is aiming towards a privacy side, decentralized side, with a DeFi aspect to it. So there's quite a lot already crammed into this project, and we're just literally touching the surface. So a developer can write smart contracts, build a DApp, or issue fungible, non-fungible token on Wanchain. Through Wanchain's cross-chain features, it is possible for any blockchain's asset to be connected with and circulate on Wanchain. This includes assets from public, private, as well as consortium chains. Last week I put out a tweet saying I was potentially looking at buying a bag of Wanchain, and I got quite a lot of feedback, should I say, and Wanchain he dropped me quite a fair bit of information. And this is quite interesting. It does show you where Wanchain started off, so 1.0 mainnet, and we've gone for over years. We've had 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and what's coming up now is what I'm going to look at next is Wanchain 5.0, and that's coming up this year. And that is Crosschain D5, and we'll have a look into that now. On this recent article, we do have the 2020 roadmap, which we'll also run through, and we'll also run through WAN 5.0, and then have a look at the reasons for 5.0 and what's actually going to happen. And at the heart of all this, we have the genesis of Crosschain D5. The Wanchain dev team has had their noses to the grindstone for the last 6 months, laying the foundations for a world of truly decentralized cross-chain Wi-Fi. A lot of buzzwords there, decentralized, cross-chain and DeFi, and that's what we need to see. While DeFi has been a buzzword for quite a while, the DeFi ecosystem is still a relatively early stage of development. As young as DeFi is a movement in the blockchain industry, cross-chain DeFi is an even more nascent stage, and it is, DeFi, we've probably heard the word since last year, 2019, and this year it's absolutely took off, and you're seeing a lot of projects that are absolutely flying. But if you're getting a cross-chain DeFi, then that's another level of that is, and we need to make sure we're looking into depth about it. So cross-chain DeFi early building blocks. So one of the earliest cross-chain concepts was that the atomic swaps between two different blockchains. While this innovation allowed for the creation of simple cross-chain use cases, it was limited in its utility and did allow for creation of complex financial applications. So it did not allow for that. So it is saying there that they have the atomic swaps in place, which is pretty much straightforward, but getting it to be a cross-chain scenario is been hard. But they've been working on that for the last 6 months, and you can see that this is coming to a head soon, that we're going to eventually get the 5.0 out, and it will help the cross-chain DeFi world. So it does say the real beginning of cross-chain DeFi was around late 2018, early 2019, with introduction of the original ERC20 WBTC on Ethereum. WBT stands for Wrapped BTC, and similar to Wrapped F or WEF, the Wrapped part refers to simple smart contracts that wraps around a core digital asset. So a crypto asset can function in the world of interlinked smart contracts. That is the DeFi word of today. Just scrolling down further, I just want to read the 5.0 section. So WAN 5.0 will enable true cross-chain DeFi. Until recently, Wanchain cross-chain implementations have focused on building Storm and node-based bridges to bring assets from other blockchains to Wanchain. Now that we have perfected our cross-chain technology, we aim to extend it not only to bring cross-chain tokens to Wanchain, but also to other blockchains. Primarily Ethereum for the near future, but this could be applied to any blockchain that we support, which for now is BTC, F and EOS, but we will be integrating more chains very soon. We have a very comprehensive and detailed roadmap, so it does go back to very beginning of 2020, and it is start off with the next batch of ERC20 EOS token integrations released. I'm not going to go through all of these points because they'll be here forever, but as you can see, work has been getting done throughout the year, and now we're coming up to Q3. We are on to Wanchain 5.0 testnet, including open Stallman nodes, two-way bridges, and fast cross-chain transactions. And as you can see, we have a lot of work planned out for our future, and this leads us all the way to the end of 2020. And you can see we are getting towards halfway through, but there's still quite a lot more to do, and a lot of that is getting them two-way bridges established from certain chains to certain chains, so from WAN to Ethereum or WAN to BTC and back, and vice versa. But by the end of the year, all that should be completed. WAN 5.0 should be implemented, and we'll be seeing one of the first Crosschain D5 projects out there. So in my opinion, I do think that WAN 5.0 is going to be a bit of a game changer. Getting that cross link between chains is, especially DeFi chains, is a massive feat, and let's hope it can be a success in the coming months and coming years. So what I do now is jump over to Coinmarketcap and just have a look at some key statistics before we jump over to TradingView, and just have a look at a little bit of chart analysis and see what's been going on in the past and what we could potentially expect in the future. So Wanchain, which is ticker WAN, WAN, currently ranked 157 out of all cryptocurrencies that are listed on CoinMarketCap. We have a coin price of around 42 cents. We are 4% down on today's trading. Today's date is the 25th of August. The total supply of WAN is 210 million, and currently in circulation we have 123.9 million of them coins in circulation, with a market cap of around $52.8 million. Scrolling down, I want to check out where we are listed as a market pairs and see we're getting predominantly volume. As you can see, against Binance, we've got quite a few pairs. So we have a pair against BNB, Ethereum, USDT and BTC. Predominantly we are getting a big bulk of the entire market's volume on Binance. We're getting around 50% against BTC, USDT and the other pairs that I mentioned. You can also buy it on BitCub, which I've never heard of. These random exchanges keep popping up, which all seem to be pretty much Chinese carbon copies of other ones, same as BitTrue. Huobi Global, decent exchange. Qcoin, I've used Qcoin for a few years, so you can trust that. And as you can see, we're listed on quite a few exchanges. We have at least 21 pairs that are recognised on CoinMarketCap, and I would believe that there are more pairs out there. If you look on your favourite exchange, you might be able to see them around. Looking at the chart then, that was back in 2018, and ever since then we've been on a downward spiral. But that's not to worry about, because a lot of projects have pretty much have charts very similar to that. Scrolling down, what I'm mainly interested in is the all-time highs. This may not be accurate, it's not always 100% accurate on CoinMarketCap, but it's saying on May the 3rd, 2018, that was a few months after the main bull run finished, we did get a coin price of $9.92, and as you can see, at 42 cents now, we are a long way off that, but all-time highs are there to be broken. And let's now have a look at TradingView. Let's have a look at some chart analysis and see what we can potentially expect with an investment opportunity, or where we can absolutely go in the future. So to wrap this video, let's just take a look at the charts, and we will start off with Wanchain versus Tether US. We don't have a ton of data, but we will start off from a weekly chart, and we just want to first start off by marking a couple of areas of support and resistance where we could potentially look at in the future. And as you can see here, we have a bit of a key level on the weekly time frame. We did act as support there, came through, acted as a resistance again, and kind of worked our way through, and we bounced off this area here. You can see we've got a few wicks up to area, and we'll just change that to the weekly. We just want to get a little bit of market structure in place. As you can see, we have one there again that acted as support, and acted as support all the way through these key levels, acted as resistance there, bounced off support, and ever since then we've been on quite a bit of a good rally really. When was that? Well, that was back in June, so a couple of months ago. Just get a few levels higher up if we can see any around. So you could say there's one there, we acted as resistance, came right through, acted as support and bounced back up. You could say that's in a bit of a lick. Some of these areas they're not precise, but you can use a box method which gives you a bit of a supply and demand zone, but I just prefer it to mark it like this. It's a little bit clearer. As long as we have two areas where we touch him, and that acts as that is quite a bit of a valid area for support and resistance. And you could say, have we got anything down towards here? I mean, we did wake up, touch Ratterman, but I'm not going to go that high up yet, because I think before we going to start to go higher, I do think we might get a bit of a pullback. But yeah, let's just jump into the daily time frame and see what we can see there. Oh, that's a weekly, sorry. Chance a weekly, and then drop into the daily time frame. Shift out away here. There we go. So let's have a look into the daily time frame, see what we can see. If you just look here, 13th of March, that's when Bitcoin had that 57% dump, and that was due to COVID-19, and we dropped all the way around to 3 or 4k. But ever since then, we've been on a great rally. If we just mark it up as a percentage rise in price, so from that bottom wick there all the way up to the highest point this year, we have been on a great run. And look at that, 600% price raise over the last 4 or 5 months. It's been pretty much the same across all cryptocurrencies, but Wanchain is now starting to get some news pointed towards them, as in 5.0, and the Crosschain D5 is a massive factor to look into. And let's just see if we can mark any key levels up here. So daily support and resistance levels, we just drop onto this again. As you can see, we have one there acted as support, so resistance, can't spit my words out, not with a weekly, did that wrong again. So we have one level there. Let's see if we can see anything else around these levels. We acted as some resistance there. As you can see, we bounce back up, come back down again, and we'll change that to a daily time frame. So we do have a little bit of structure in place. So first what I want to start off by is considering the fact that Bitcoin dumps. It may not happen, but the potential is always there, so we need to have a look at some potential retracements, and we'll start from that bottom body there and work us up to the top body there. And what the Fibonacci does is give you a good level which coincides with the support and resistance levels, where you can potentially buy back in if we do get a dump. I mean, we may not get one, but you just have to have some orders in place just in case we do. That's what I do in my personal view. I always have some orders in just lower, just in case we get them wicks down. Because look at this, for example, we dropped from 40 cent all the way down to 30 cents, so that's a massive move. That is, that's called like a 20% move, and that could happen again. So we just need to be wary. And in my opinion, what I usually do is I always target the 618 level on a Fibonacci, and we have got a level of weekly resistance down there, so that could potentially be an area of investment opportunity in the future if we do get a dump. I mean, so far we are turning around, but I do think that we can start to push back up. And what I want to do is just flip the Fibonacci around and see what we can expect to come up in the if we do get a move up north. And what I want to do is again take it from the top body all the way down to the bottom of that move and look at Fibonacci extensions where we could potentially go, and that is aiming up towards the 69-70 cent area. And I do think that is potentially somewhere we can start to move up. I mean, that as a percentage from current prices would be quite a monster move, really. You're talking 62% price raise, but considering that we're being on this massive run, I mean, that's not a million miles away, and the potential is there for it to happen. So that is what I would like to see. I would like us to try and start targeting those areas. If we just mark it up with an arrow, and I do think that over the course of the coming months, as long as the market stays bullish, I do think we've got a chance that Bitcoin can go sideways and alts seem to rally. We've not had much massive movements really between the big boys, so you're talking XRP, ADA. They've not done a massive major move like some of the lower altcoins have done. So I do think that over the coming potentially weeks or months, we can start to push up towards the 70 cent, and then ultimately a massive target is moving up to the dollar region. We have been at $9.90 before, according to Coinmarketcap, so that is somewhere I would like to target in the future. So yeah, that will just wrap it up for today's video. That gives you an idea where you can potentially buy around these areas. Actually, what I'll do, I just look at the BTC chart before we do finish. We'll just have a look at that. As you can see, we have a lot more data on BTC chart, and look where we are in consideration to that. But again, this chart's looking very similar since March. Back then, we've been on a great rise. Let's just work it out as where we could potentially buy. Let's just move back to where's March. Tell you what, we'll take the bottom of that move all the way up to the top. So 61% retracement on the BTC zone would be potentially buying in at around 2,400 sats. We are currently at around 3,600. So if you want to potentially look at getting in some with BTC value, then have some orders in around here. It might not happen, like I say, we might start pushing up, but I predominantly trade in USDT. I'm not a massive fan of Bitcoin, so that is what I think could potentially happen. Try and push up to 70 cent, but if we do turn bearish, then get some orders in around the 618 level on the Fibonacci, and try and target them 30 to possibly even down to 25 cent areas. So yeah, like I said, that will wrap it up for today's video. That's just a little brief run analysis about Wanchain and what we could potentially expect in an investment opportunity in the coming days. So thanks very much for listening. Please make sure you do drop the video a like. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.